Hello, and welcome to Marketplace with Charles, brought to you by Art of Skincare. Art of Skincare, the company that brings out the beauty in you. I am Charles Ngobeni. On Marketplace, we aim to empower, encourage, and equip you with the right tools that you need to move closer to you achieving your entrepreneurial dreams. Each week, we bring you insights from experts in different fields of business, from men and women of faith, but also from ordinary people from all walks of life. On today's show, we continue with financing your business. We speak again to a man that understands the finance needs of your business. My guest has many years of exposure in the business arena. He served as a board member in various positions on a number of big companies, including Mesa Computers and Olivetti South Africa. He holds a BSc Honours degree in economics as well as Chartered Institute of Secretarial Certificate, the CIS. He is also a holder of an international consultant certificate in total cost of ownership from Italy. Welcome, Dr. Walter Mandaza, with me in your house today. Last week, we started our discussion on EventFin, the finance company that regards you as a business partner and takes itself available to you in various fronts. Today, we'll continue this discussion with my guest, Dr. Walter Mandaza. Welcome back to Marketplace with Charles.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Charles, and welcome to the viewers.
Just in few seconds, for the sake of the people who missed last week's episode, can you just briefly explain who you are?
Okay. I'm a businessman. I have been in business now for almost 19 years. I've worked briefly in my career in the corporate space, as you rightly said earlier, for the likes of Olivetti Africa, Mesa Computers, and Dimension Data at executive level, before I branched out to start off my own business, the Webcom Group of companies, which I've been running since 1998, and among other things, we've been instrumental in building the e-native system of this country. We've been instrumental in helping pioneer the postpaid contract sale contracts for the cellular networks via call center infrastructure. We've done business in about 12 African countries, set up an office in the United Kingdom, and our business continues to grow. So I'm passionate about business. That's my life. That's what I do. And that's who I am.
You are CEO of the company called EventFin.
Yeah.
What is EventFin?
EventFin is a financing company. We look at funding individuals and companies that would traditionally struggle to get finance from your banks or your traditional financing institutions. In my 19 years in business, I found that one of the most problematic issues for business people is access to finance. Without finance, you may have a good idea or a good project or a good contract, but to execute it becomes very difficult. And most people end up losing the contract, or the contract expires, or it gets given to somebody else simply because they could not find the money to execute it. They may be intelligent, they may be good people, but if the money to execute the contract is not there, chances of success become very slim. And if when one goes to the traditional banks, it's a different ball game. So we saw a gap in actually addressing some of those issues, and decided that we'll take a view on the contract itself. So our approach is taking a risk based on the contract, not based on the individual or their collateral. So we become a partner with the person that is coming to us for finance. And I think that's a big difference between somebody going to a bank and coming to us. We want to be a partner with that individual. And as a result, we don't ask for, oftentimes don't ask for collateral. We don't ask for your house or your cars and things like that. So yeah, so that's what we do. We offer money for people who with trade finance. We offer money for people with orders, purchase orders that need financing. We offer money for people who need invoice discounting. You know, the end of the month is about to come and they need to pay salaries and, you know, they need cash flow. So they come to us, they seed their receivables, and then we give them money on the back of that, you know. We also do merchant loan finance for retailers who have point of sale terminals and have got a daily cash flow. So we loan money to those companies. We've also loaned money within the construction sector. One of my businesses is a construction company. So it's an area I'm also passionate about. And we also loan money to people who come to us with RDP houses to build and, you know, various construction projects. And we assess the risk based on each project and its merits.
For excellency, event fin has to be quick and convenient. Do you do that?
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things we pride ourselves in is the speed with which we do a turnaround. You know, I've had transactions that have come to us which I've approved in 30 minutes, and a proposal is sent out to the individual simply because it's a straightforward transaction, you know. So that's one of the things that we pride ourselves in is the fact that we're able to have a quick turnaround and get back to the client in time for them to be able to deliver you know, on their project, you know. So yeah, as long as the fundamental things are there, we're able to assess it very quickly. The first thing I always ask for when a client comes in is, where is your purchase order and where is your supplier quotation? That's what my office will ask for, you know. And if you have those two things, that 50% of the work is done. The rest of it will be administrative work and just verifying and confirming that indeed it is a genuine and legitimate transaction.
You have positioned your company as a client's capital partner. What do you mean by that? And what is the concept of partnership?
Sure. No, thank you for that question. You know, when some of our clients go to a bank, what actually happens there is that the bank will loan money against a house, or they will want you to have the same amount of money that you are borrowing locked in an investment, you know, before they give you the money. So you have to really be in a position where you don't need the money in order to get the money, you know, and that's how banks work. It's the way they manage their risk. And then secondly, when they give you the money, they then charge you an interest that you then pay, you know, over a year period, or whatever it is, a period that you are loaning the money. You know, but that's not how we work. Firstly, we hardly ever take collateral from the clients. So our clients come, we are aware that most of them don't have any house to put as collateral. They don't have insurance policies or, you know, or investment accounts and all of that. You know, these are people who worked hard to get a contract awarded to them and are looking for money to execute. So we take a view on the contract itself, you know. And so what we say to our clients is, we are coming in to partner with you. You know, so, and that's what we mean by partnership. So we enter into an agreement where we are jointly executing that contract, you know, and then we assess the profitability of that contract, and we agree on what fee we will get and what we will then pay over to that client as their fee or their part of the profit, you know. So that is how we actually come into partnership. We also then have a team in our office that oversees the execution of that project. So although we don't get physically involved in it, we oversee and ensure that the project is successfully delivered, so that we can all get paid, So that's another part of partnership, is that we get involved in the process of delivering whatever it is, or project managing whatever it is, and making sure that it is successful. So that's another aspect of partnership. And then lastly, we also get paid the money by the client into a jointly controlled bank account. So we open a bank account where the payment that's coming in comes into that account. So it means we are co-signatories with the client, And once the money comes in, we then split the profit, according to what we have agreed and signed on, So it's a total partnership arrangement from the beginning to the end, So it's very important that our viewers understand that we are not taking money and giving to an individual to go and execute a contract and then come to us after 12 months and say, I successfully delivered that contract, here's your money plus interest. That's not how we work. Banks do that. And that's why they take collateral in case you don't come back and say, here's your money plus interest. Then they take your house, they attach it, and they sell it. So that's not how we work. We partner with the individual. We want to make sure that the contract succeeds, and then we share on the proceeds. And because we don't take collateral, and because our turnaround is quick, we tend to take a bit more than what the banks would take, because we are sharing in the risk of the project, So that's really what we mean by partnership.
That's a great way to assist.
Yeah.
I mean, with all honesty, most of the people, they don't even have collateral. You go to the bank, you have got a good deal, you have got a good tender, you want to start a great business, but they turn it down simply because you don't have enough collateral. I think they've got what they call the gearing ratio. And if the gearing ratio is not correct, and if it's not right according to the conventional bank, it doesn't matter how good the deal is, you may not get financing.
Yeah.
And with the conventional banks, I know that you make a loan, they make the payout, you make the repayment. At the end of the repayments, that's the end of the relationship. Yes. Is that so with you?
Yeah. No, that is not so with us. We all our clients, we seek to build a long-term relationship with them, because it is a partnership, And so what we encourage our clients is that if we successfully deliver one project together, let's go out there and get more so that they can grow and we also benefit. And I think for us, we really pride ourselves as being one of those companies that are on the cutting edge of BEE, Black Economic Empowerment. We feel that our services to the market are really addressing those kinds of issues directly, and helping people create jobs, job creation and, skills development, social community development. All those important things are affected as a result of us coming in to partner with the kind of clients that we partner with, So yes, to answer your question, we don't walk away. We want to ensure that our clients are repeat clients. They come back to us, and we want to ensure that, a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, we have helped to build a large corporate company that can be reckoned with in South Africa simply because they partnered with Eventfin.
You are very great, I must say it. Yeah. On that note, viewers, I think we need to take a break. But stay tuned because we still have got more for you. That business deal on the table that needs to be financed, we have got a deal for you. Welcome back to Marketplace with Charles. We are discussing finance. I am sitting here with CEO of EventFin, Dr. Walter Mandaza. Dr. Walter, we have been discussing what EventFin is and how it works, the partnerships, how it operates. Most of the conventional banks, they'll give you money. You go and do your business. If it works, they're happy. If it doesn't work, you will meet in court. Or they come and repossess your house. If you have got a wife, I'm not too sure if they'll repossess your wife too.
I'm sure they would.
But EventFin, do you offer mentorship? Do you help the people to identify the problems before they even go under? Let's talk about mentorship.
Sure. You know, by the nature of our business, mentorship is embedded into what we do. By the virtue of the fact that we come and partner with the company that has come to us, you know. So because we want to ensure the success of the project, you know, and we get involved in the execution of that project, there's an automatic transfer of skills to the company that comes to us, you know. And so where we see that the client is going in a direction that might jeopardize the project, we get involved, you know. So there's an automatic transfer of skills, transfer of knowledge, mentorship, and understanding of corporate processes, because some of the things that even right from the beginning, when we are entering into agreements with the clients, there are processes that we follow, you know, in terms of the contract signing, the kind of documentation that we require, a lot of the legal processes that we engage in. So already there's a process that puts the company in a place where it becomes more structured than it was even in the beginning. You know, and in some cases we second an individual on that particular contract to ensure that they are able to deliver and actually execute on whatever it is, you know. So there is an automatic mentorship, skills transfer, skills development process that's involved in what we do.
You've got what you call the tender capital and the business capital. What is the difference between the two?
Okay. Right. So business capital really focuses on innovative financial solutions. You know, within business capital, we will look at a transaction because one transaction is not the same as the other. Transactions come in all sizes and shapes, and they differ, you know. So on the business capital side, we look at innovative ways of actually assisting the clients and making sure we're able to deliver on their particular project, you know. And if we feel that the risk is too high, we will be able to tell the client politely that, look, we cannot get involved, you know. So the business capital side really is looking more at your private sector contracts, and a lot of them need innovative ways of structuring them and then putting together a proposal on how we can work together to execute. On the tender capital side, I think the name probably speaks for itself, you know, where we fund people who have won tenders. You know, oftentimes these people win tenders, but government will not be able to pay up front, you know, so they must do the project and execute and then get paid by government. So we get involved in that space where we come in and partner with the individual, finance that particular project and wait for payment from the government, whether it's 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days later, you know. So that's the difference between the two.
Let's say you have got a client out there. He has won a tender, but his track record is not impressive. Is there any way to mitigate that? Or you just throw the application into the dustbin?
Yeah. Look, you know, track record is important, and coupled with track record is looking at the actual contract that is on the table, you know. sometimes people you'll find have failed in the past, not because necessarily of their own doing, but because of how the execution process was structured of delivering that project. And so you find that they failed. So we look at all those factors, and whether we are able to restructure that particular contract to mitigate the risk and such that the contract can be delivered more efficiently. So we look at all those things, yeah. But I think the key thing to understand is that our risk assessment lies with the contract itself more than it does with the individual. So as much as it's important that the individual is able to understand the business, but we take a view mainly on the contract itself. The contract must be solid enough, must carry enough weight, must be clear enough for us to invest money. And so our money does not go to the individual, the money goes to the contract. To the supplier in most cases who's delivering the goods, and we check whether the supplier is able to deliver those particular goods. So our vetting of the supplier is extremely thorough because money is being paid to that supplier.
So you vet the supplier more
Yes.
than the applicant.
Exactly. And if the supplier is able to pass the qualification criteria, then we are comfortable. The applicant may have failed a number of times, but if the supplier is a credible supplier, they are capable of delivering, then we are comfortable. And then we look at also the payer, the buyer, or the person where the supplier is delivering the goods, their ability to pay. Have they been able to pay in the past? Do they have the capacity to pay? How long will they take to pay? What are the assurances and guarantees? Are they a credible payer? Those are the things we look at, And once we satisfy ourselves with those two, that these two entities are credible enough for us to do business with, at the end of the day, it almost becomes irrelevant, what the individual's track record is, although it is important. Although it is very important to us, But yeah, I just wanted to give you that overview in terms of our risk assessment on the project.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. But then, yes, a tender and a purchase order. When you have to finance it, do you look into the value? What's the bottom line? Do you finance anything that comes onto your table, or is there a limit?
Okay, that's a very good question. We have avoided to finance anything less than 250,000 Rand. So our starting point would be 250,000 Rand and up, And also, if it is 250,000, we prefer dealing with businesses that have a turnover already of about R1 million a year, So we have some of those fundamental criteria that are in place, Reason being, if we finance anything lower than that, it does not match with our cost of capital. The amount of work and effort that goes in to financing a transaction of 100,000 Rand, might actually make it not profitable for us at the end of the day, and hence we've set the cap of 250,000 and above. So those are some of our basic sort of funding criteria, and when we have a client that also comes to us based on the level of risk, we try and see how we can manage the amount of investment that we put in that particular client. You have a business that comes, it is new, it's only been operating for a year or 6 months, and has got their first order. It's a good order, and it has all the tick box, all the boxes ticked, and they're asking you for 100 million, we will tend to shy away from that, because you want to start at a stage which is digestible. A business cannot move from being an infant and suddenly overnight you are controlling 100 million. There has not been enough time for that business to learn, to grow, to manage, and to grow its muscles to be able to carry that. So we would likely start with 5 million rand or 10 million rand and have that money come back, and then we refinance if it's a deal that is ongoing. So those are the sort of parameters that we use.
Here's an entrepreneur. He wants to come to EventFin for finance. What documentation should I bring? Or I should just walk in with my tender papers, show you that I've won the tender? Or is there anything more that you expect?
Sure. So yes, that particular part is important. You have to come to us with the contract that you've won. So that's the starting point. What is the contract you have won? What is the value of the contract? Are you able to deliver? Do you have a supplier that can deliver that particular contract? That's where we start. And obviously, is there a profit enough in that particular contract? So we have to assess that, because we both get paid on the profit. So that is the starting point. Beyond that, there's a list of other information that we will need, such as company documents, tax clearance documents, proof of residence, the contract that is actually signed with the client, ID documents, et cetera, et cetera. Some of your basic statutory documents that one would need in order to ensure that, this is a proper business that is established, So yes, so we do ask for the actual contract, for the actual order or contract itself up front, but also followed by other administrative documents that should support that.
I still got so many questions for you, Dr. Walter. Yeah. And I also believe our viewers out there, they still want to learn more from you and engage you in their businesses. But unfortunately, we ran out of time.
Sure.
We need to take this thing one more step further. I would love to have you next week again.
Okay, sure. It would be my pleasure.
Yeah, but if in the meantime, people out there, they need to contact you. They need more information. They can't even wait for next week. How do they do that?
Okay. People can either visit our website or send me an email. Our website is www.eventfin.co.za, or my email is walter@eventfin.co.za. That's WALTR@eventfin.co.za.
EventFin is my business partner of choice from today. On that note, I'm also available on www.charlesngobeni.com, on Instagram, Charles_Ngobeni, or you may like me on Facebook, Charles Ngobeni. See you next week when we take this further with my guest, Dr. Walter Mandaza. You don't want to miss that financing opportunity. God bless you.